Chapter 41. Following Li Yuanba around outside, Xingtian learned a lot. This trip was very enlightening for him. He heard that Li Yuanba was a stray cat. Obviously, it had more experience surviving outside than other domestic cats. It could distinguish the good and evil elements of all kinds of people and animals in the environment very well. Even if it was walking on the sidewalk, it would still be calm. When it encountered people with malicious intentions, the way it dealt with them was different. For some people, if you threatened or intimidated them, they would stay away. For others, the more you threatened them, the more they would be motivated. This was the case for humans. As a cat, its status was even lower, and the situation it faced was even more severe. Therefore, many animals that wandered the streets would run away when they saw people because they couldn't clearly distinguish who was kind and who was malicious. After being hurt a few times, it would form a kind of conditional discharge and they would run away when they saw people. However, Li Yuanba could choose the best way to deal with it in a short time. For example, when passing by a milk tea shop, there was a couple sitting on the chair next to it. The man called out a few times, holding a string in his hand and swinging it to attract the cat's attention. Cats were always more sensitive to the sound me, and preferred the kind of string that moved. But he didn't expect Li Yuanba to walk away from him. Xingtian was very curious because before that, there were also people who called Li Yuanba like that. Although Li Yuanba didn't go over, it didn't change its route. But this time, after it pulled its ears, it walked away directly. It was very straightforward. Xingtian followed it and changed his route. Not far away, Xingtian heard the man sitting next to the milk tea shop holding the milk tea call out again, so he looked back. There was a cat passing by, standing on the flower bed. It looked like a domestic cat with clean and soft fur. Hearing the man's call and seeing the swinging string, the cat moved closer. The next moment, the man sprayed the milk tea with the straw in his hand. The cat dodged quickly and only some of its fur was stained by the milk tea. Therefore the cat was unhappy. It lowered its ears, puffed up its fur and growled. If Xiaoguo were here, he would definitely know that this was a warning from the cat, and that it could attack or run away at any time. Generally, it was best not to provoke it under such circumstances. In the end, the cat's reaction made the man even more excited. The cat was sprayed with milk tea and ran into the greenery, leaving only the laughter of the couple behind. Trash. That laughter was too ear-piercing. Xingtian tugged at his ears. Looking at those two faces, he couldn't help but want to scratch them. Xingtian looked at Li Yuanba. It had already walked far away as if it did not know what had just happened. It was nonsense for a cat to lend a helping hand in the face of injustice. No one was a superhero, not to mention a cat that was just trying to survive. A cat's life was worthless. Xingtian retracted his gaze and quickly followed Li Yuanba. At the corner of the street they met another couple. Similarly, the man also made a mee sound and made some movements to attract the cat's attention. Seeing that the cat in front of him ignored him, he threw a small stone at Li Yuanba. What made Xingtian different was that Li Yuanba had a completely different behavior from before. It lowered its ears, raised its whiskers, showed its fangs and made a low growl. The man was obviously a little scared. His action of picking up the stone froze. At this time, his girlfriend next to him pulled his arm as if she was afraid of being scratched. Therefore, they patted the dust off their hands and quickly left. For different people, different ways of dealing with them. It did not blindly retreat. When it should be strong, it was strong. When there was no need to be strong, it was also nimble to avoid conflict. This was the attitude that Li Yuanba adopted when walking on the street. It was different from the way of other cats. Xingtian had been following it not far behind, so he could see everything that had happened before clearly. The couple in front and the couple in the back did show a difference in personality. Their momentary change in expression allowed Li Yuanba to choose the most suitable method. Those that could not do what Li Yuanba did could only be like other stray cats. They could only avoid people when they saw them outside. No matter how attractive the other party was, they could not go over because they did not know if they would be sprayed with dirt or thrown stones in the next moment. They also did not know if their warning was effective on those people or if it would make them worse. It was not a golden pet in Beverly Hills. As an ordinary domestic animal living in the city, it could either be satisfied with the status quo or learn more survival skills. For a cat that could not stay indoors, survival was not easy. The lack of experience in a social environment was the biggest test for Xingtian. Tan was used to thinking from a human's point of view, but now he was slowly changing. He did not know how long he would stay in this cat form. If he could never go back, in order to survive, he had to learn a lot. He had to learn how to look at problems from the point of view of an ordinary cat. Tan did not want to give up his cat life so easily. After walking around with Li Yuanba, when he returned to the pet center, Xiaogua and the others had just finished their work and were calling Tan's cat name. Seeing Tan coming from the back door, Xiaogua did not suspect anything. He thought that Tan was just curious and walked around there. He did not know that the back door of his studio area had been searched again and again. After returning to Tsinghua University and entering the area belonging to the owner, the hustle and bustle outside seemed to have settled down. It was suddenly much quieter. The students that he saw on the way were rushing to and fro for year-end activities or various exams. Most of them were inexperienced. The mentality of students in this era was much simpler than that of 10 years later. What made people mature was experience, not age. Even if these students with no background and no family background went out now, they would probably not be as good as their peers who had been through hardships for many years. Tan jumped out of Xiaogua's car and looked up. Huang was lying on the lawn, basking in the sun. This guy never left the campus area. Perhaps for it such a large area was enough for it to play around. Niu Zhuangzhuang was tied up next to it, and Xiao Hua, the Saint Bernard dog, was napping on the grass. In terms of body size, Xiao Hua was now several times bigger than Niu Zhuangzhuang. However, Niu Zhuangzhuang was tied up while Xiao Hua was not. Niu Zhuangzhuang was quite friendly to the animals that it had been familiar with since it was young, but when it came to other unfamiliar pets, it would rush up and start fighting. Everyone in the courtyard remembered that the thief's leg was bitten during the theft. They would be worried if Niu Zhuangzhuang was not tied up. As for Xiao Hua, the children in the courtyard often played with it. Everyone knew that Xiao Hua had a gentle personality. Other than the fact that it liked to drool, it had a good impression of it. Seeing Tan, a Huang lay on its side and stretched. Meow. It meowed. When it meowed in a low and gentle tone, it meant that it was greeting and welcoming you. It also meant that it was in a good mood and was answering your question. When it meowed loudly, it could be complaining or begging. For example, it was hungry and wanted to be fed. Xiaogu followed Tan upstairs. Every time they came back, it was like this. One was in a hurry to go home while the other was walking slowly behind. Sometimes when he sent Tan home after shooting a commercial, Xiaogu would bring some photos from the commercial to the Jiao family. It was the same this time. When they entered the house, Jiao Ma was cooking dinner. In the living room, Jiao Yuan, who had come back early from school, was sitting on a small stool. Jiao Pa was sitting on the sofa. They seemed to be talking about something. It seemed that Jiao Pa was teaching him something other than books. Little Pomelo had a group interest class today. She was having an art class and would be back later. When Auntie Ling picked up the children, she also picked up little Pomelo. Therefore, there was no need for the Jiao Pa and Jiao Ma to go over. When they saw Tan and Xiaogu come in, the father and son stopped talking. When Xiaogu put down his things and drank a cup of tea, they talked about today's commercial. After he left, the father and son continued their conversation. Tan squatted on his special chair and listened to their conversation. The Jiao Pa was talking about the broken window effect. This topic started when Jiao Yuan came home and complained about some things in class. For example, copying homework. In the language class today, the teacher severely criticized a few students who copied homework. In Jiao Yuan's opinion, copying homework was also a problem in other classes. Why was the language teacher so serious? When the Jiao Pa heard Jiao Yuan's complaints, he pulled him over and started the lesson. The broken window effect meant that if someone broke a window in a building and didn't fix it in time, others might be implicitly encouraged to break more windows. The result was that in this kind of apathetic atmosphere, crime would breed. Behavior and environment are strongly suggestive and inductive. If the first broken window isn't fixed in time, something more serious might happen. Similarly, your classmates will think that copying homework is a useful and effective way to save time. They will continue to copy. Tan looked at the Jiao Pa and then looked at the Jiao Yuan. He was conflicted. Why was he talking about such profound principles with a primary school student? In any case, Tan had done everything from elementary school to university. He had copied homework, been late, gotten into fights and blackmailed people. Other than a few words from his teacher, he had not been restrained. In the end, it was all problems that could be solved with money. Since money could solve the problem, why should he complicate it? Jing Tan still squatted there and listened to the Jiao Pa's lesson to the Jiao Yuan. The topic had already extended from the classroom phenomenon to business management. There are usually two types of environments for business development. One is the hard environment, such as office conditions, machinery, road facilities, etc. The other is the soft environment, such as the work atmosphere, corporate culture, interpersonal relationships, management style, etc. For example, your Uncle Yuan is now paying attention to these broken windows in the company. In the hard environment, the broken windows will be fixed as soon as there are problems. In the soft environment, the influence of broken windows is even greater, so you can't let your guard down. Behind any major problem is the result of the accumulation of many other problems, so your Uncle Yuan is always paying attention. Once he discovers a problem, he will immediately take measures to deal with it because it may affect the company's reputation. And reputation is a curse that people put on your Uncle Yuan's company. No matter how capable you are, no matter how arrogant you are, if you want to develop well, you can't ignore these broken windows. Take your class for example. If the reputation is bad, you won't be able to talk about your classmates, right? Jiao Pa's last sentence made Jiao Yuan agree with him. There was a class in their grade that had a bad reputation. At first, when they heard that someone in that class had a pen eraser stolen, the class and the teacher didn't care much. Later, there were rumors of people stealing money and so on, so everyone was especially vigilant against the people in that class. The students in that class were too embarrassed to report to their class, afraid that they would be despised and ostracized. Let me give you another example. This kind of chain effect can be explained from another perspective. For example, if your mother bought you a new pair of socks with the Transformers pattern, you will definitely subconsciously choose the newer and cleaner shoes when you wear the new socks. If you wear the shoes, you will definitely pair them with a pair of trousers that are suitable for the shoes. After choosing the trousers, you will also have to match them with your jacket. After you wear them, you will definitely avoid getting dirty. So after this process, your entire image will change. Oh, I understand. Take Xianxia for example. His mother told him many times that a hunchback wouldn't grow tall because he likes hunchbacks, but he still doesn't listen. He usually hunches because he is already considered tall in the class, so he doesn't care. However, ever since he wore the new clothes that his mother carefully picked for him, he stopped hunching. He also pays attention to straightening his back. Because when his mother gave him the clothes, she said that the clothes look good with a straight back and attract girls. Jiao Yuan said, "Jing Tan, is this encouraging puppy love?" When Jiao Pa heard Jiao Yuan's words, he thought for 2 seconds and said, "So what you are saying is, when can I buy new clothes for the new year? You won't just give me a pair of socks, right?" Jing Tan. Listening to this father and son talk is so king tiring. It was just a normal class phenomenon, but there were so many theories and hidden topics. The custom here was that the children would buy new clothes during the new year. As for the adults, it would depend on their family's conditions. Jiao Pa was not surprised by Jiao Yuan's answer. He said, "What kind of clothes you can buy and how much you want will depend on your performance. Of course. If I get into the top 5 of the class, will you listen to me when it comes to clothes?" Yes. Even if I buy clothes that are a little more avant-garde, a little less mainstream and a little more domineering with rivets. Yes. If you want to spray mousse, I will also satisfy you. Okay. Jiao Yuan got the answer he wanted. He dragged his bag and went back to his room to do his homework. It was almost the end of the semester and he had to give it a shot for his New Year's gift. After Jiao Yuan went back to his room, Jiao Ma came out with a plate of food. She looked at Jiao Yuan's closed door and said to Jiao Pa, "Did that kid ask for something again? How can I not know what that kid is thinking? If he really gets into the top 5, will you let him wear that kind of clothes?" "It's okay. You just have to bring him to the toy gun store and he will change his mind. If he can only choose between the toy and the clothes, he will definitely choose the former. Last year he wanted that toy but he got 6th place and couldn't buy it back. What if he doesn't get into the top 5? Jiao Ma asked again. He set the standard for getting into the top 5 himself. He has to be responsible for what he says. If he really can't pass the exam, buy him a toy gun. Don't buy the big one, buy the small one. We can't let this kid think that he can get what he wants even if he doesn't keep his word," Father Jiao said calmly.